when you go back to like one of the first things that I did was I just got a website, and amandascarborough.com was taken, but amanda-scarborough.com was available. So I just ended up grabbing that, and I know that it's long, but it's still my name, and my name, especially when I got done playing, was powerful and it had a lot of credibility to it. So I still wanted to be able to make that my URL. I wanted to be able to make it my website. I have no idea who has my website without the dash in it, and it just bugs me every time. Same thing with Pitching Angel. It actually has a dash too because pitchingangel.com was taken. So that would be probably one of the first things that I tell a lot of athletes is, and the advice too that I gave to Odyssey Alexander, who was a pitcher for James Madison University, just got done playing at the Women's College World Series. It was like $11.99 on GoDaddy.com. I'm like, take that. Like, you need your name.com because there's so much value to that. So that was one of the first things I did. And on there was like a WordPress site. I just started writing and blogging. And this was back in maybe 2013, 2014. And I just started putting down all my thoughts into a blog. I would think of a topic, and I love to write. It's therapeutic for me. And I know that blogging maybe isn't as sexy as some of the videos and TikTok and Snapchat and things that are more popular now, but there's still so much credence and value in doing something that makes you feel good because you're going to be able to put in your best foot forward. And for me, it's writing. Like, I am on air on ESPN, but I actually like writing more than I actually like talking in front of people. And so just by blogging and creating people and traffic to drive to my website, I knew eventually when I created Pitching Angel, that was years and years down the road, like a little bit too late for what I actually wanted to do. But I knew that traffic and having an influence in the sport through my blogs and eventually other things later down the road would pay off. And it absolutely did whenever I created Pitching Angel.
You know, one of the things that came through in what you were saying about writing is that you were passionate about it. It's authentic to who you are, right? It's exactly the way that you wanted to communicate to your audience, your fan base. Getting a website, like, these are all things that athletes really need to be focused on as they start to think about their name, image, and likeness. And I think you are the picture perfect example of how to go out and do it the right way.
Well, and I think that everybody has a story. Every athlete has their own beginning, has their own journey, their own failures, their own successes, and everybody can learn through those stories. And that's actually what, especially with working with ESPN, that's what I learned too with them is, like, we're not just calling the game, but we're telling athletes in a team story. And so I wanted to be able to do that by sharing my own personal story, my own failures, my own strengths, things that I've learned through my recruiting journey, through my parents. Like, there's just so many different topics that you can cover. And a big way too that I found out what people wanted to know about is that I just simply looked at the questions that they were asking me. If they wrote an email, if they sent me a message, if they asked me an email, if they asked me a question at a camp or in person when I ran into them outside the softball field, there are certain questions that just start to come up that people want to know, that people are interested in. And as a former softball player, and this is for any athlete, it's basically like you have a degree in your sport, and not just have a bachelor's degree in it, you have a master's, you have a doctorate. Like, I basically have a PhD in softball, right? That not very many people have. And so with that knowledge, there's so many different ways to spread it and use it and make money off of it. But the whole point, I mean, making money is great, but making an impact is something that will actually be able to have that long lasting legacy to where your brand isn't just right now. Your brand is everlasting, even when maybe you don't end up doing the same thing anymore, or you're 70, 80 years old, to be able to be remembered for what you're most passionate about and the biggest impact that you can have.
Do you have any things that you would say are do's or don'ts as it relates to social media for you?
So I started a Facebook business page. So there's a Facebook personal page, but then there's also a business page. I started that in like 2010 before sharing information, posting videos, and YouTube was even like a really big thing. It was one of those things. I knew that everybody was on Facebook, just like my website. Like, everybody has the internet. So if they search my name, I want them to be able to find me. I want them to be able to access me. So I started that Facebook page, and now have close to 100,000 followers on there from just continuing to post content. I think sometimes as coaches or just as humans, we can get protective of what we know and the information. Like, oh, well, I don't want to put anything out there because I feel like I should be getting paid for it. And that is like the complete opposite of approach of what I've taken this entire time. It's been to share, create videos, share information, help people along the way, because then they're just going to want more of me. They're going to want to see me in person. They're going to want more clinics. And then that brought to online courses for me. So Facebook was really big because that's where all the parents are. And then I also ended up getting on Instagram a little bit later. But those are probably my two main sources, is Instagram and Facebook. And I talk to two different audiences on there, because Facebook is going to be more talking directly to the parents, and Instagram is going to be more talking to the girls. I don't have Snapchat and I don't have TikTok. I know that I need to get on it, but I'm under the impression and of just being all in on one or two things versus spreading myself thin on multiple things. It is your choice what you put out there. It is your choice every day, the attitude that you're going to have. It is your choice what you want your brand to be about. And so do you want it to just be this gloomy, negative, like just selfish thing, or like what, and that's fine if it is, if that's working for you and you're getting reach and attention, that's who you want to be. But at the end of the day, you have the ability to create to be anything that you want, and it's totally up to you and your choice, for better or for worse. I think that my biggest piece of advice would be, especially on social media, I mean, that wasn't around whenever I was in college. Things have just changed really fast, but just to post, like we talked about that consistency, to post, even if you aren't exactly sure that, you know, I have Pitching Angel and I'm also Amanda Scarborough, even though you don't have an offset brand name yet or what your logo is going to look like it doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. So when you post more, you get that more engagement, you get more followers, more influence, and then most importantly, you understand what you're about more and what you're most passionate about, and that's going to be the most important thing.
Amanda Scarborough, you're the best. Thank you so much, and we sincerely appreciate your time. And thank you guys for tuning in to NIL 360 EDU.